that's why I think a key attribute of a leader is resiliency. Because there's going to be some days when you feel like the culture is not what it should be and that you're under attack or whatever. And that resiliency is a commitment to the cause that you're after. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what you want to achieve. And some days are just not good days.
Right. Okay.
But when there's a string of bad days, you're like, okay, what's going on? What's wrong? What's happening? And so it's trying to develop that idea of evaluation and self-awareness of, is it me? Because I think every leader needs to start there going, and we talked about self-awareness on the trip, John's book, Self-Aware Leader. I mean, 85% of leaders feel like they're aware of their weak spots, but they actually don't see them.
Yeah.
But when you surround yourself with guys and gals who you love and they love you, and they identify weak spots, you've kind of given permission for them to speak into your life because they want to strengthen those areas. And some leaders don't want that. Yeah. They don't want somebody calling them out, going, hey, we probably, why don't you let me handle that? Your strong point's this. Let me do that for you. Because some leaders are like, no, I can do that. They're defensive. But, when you create a culture to where it's a team, well, then, man, when the water rises, all the boats rise. Yep. It's not just about your boat; it's about all the boats.
For sure. Well, and again, so inside of Barndo, people heard me talk about this so much, but it's who we are. We have a business and we have a cool product, and we do a really good job, providing that product. But inside of the walls of that business, it's always about our impact and how can we be bigger than just building barns. And so some of the things we do is we partner with Carolina Miracle League. I've had Pam on the show. I've talked about this with Pete Wilson a couple weeks ago.
I saw some pictures you posted on that. That was so awesome, man. That was really cool.
Well, that organization changed my life.
Yeah.
And I see it change people's life every time I go to the ball field. And it's incredible. But there's some other things that we wanted to do as an organization. Like, we opened up our doors to things that a lot of people don't do. I got daughters and sons, right? But I'm also in the construction industry. And I know that there are limitations to women coming into the construction industry and feeling like they can lead, right? I might can get a job in construction, but how do I become a leader in construction? Mm-hmm. And it's not one of those things where I'm out here way out in left field, and I'm arguing women's rights issues, but it's a known fact. And so in the consideration of that, the fact that I've got a daughter that wants to become an architect and a designer, and, she might change her mind. She might become a veterinarian or something. Who knows? But right now, her thought is, I want to design and be an architect, and I want to be in business like this. And so I'm always at the forefront of going, how do I knock down walls here, right? And so, again, it's intentional to where I put people in uncomfortable situations. I have, we are a pretty blended staff, male and female. Mm-hmm. There's certain things that each do better than others, but inside of that, we have had an intentionality that we will not just be, male only, male driven, right, environment. I want to empower women to come into an industry where they haven't always had the ability to, and lead. And so I put them in some crazy situations and throw them in the fire with leadership opportunities. And it's kind of funny because it people that want to pretend like that's not a real thing, like there's no separation there. All you got to do is come to my office one day and listen to some of the phone calls, because I have women that are executing in a high level that are holding people accountable, and they're holding the bar, and they're equipped, and they know, and to see that and just play a small role in knocking down some of those walls. When they go on social media and they post about working here, or they go to an event, and I'm intentional with every piece of this. We go to a career fair, you will see 50-50 blend of men and women. You may see more women than men because they like to help more in that sense. But it's kind of funny. But what it does is who's talking to you is just as important as what they're saying and how they're saying it. But we did a career fair. Well, when little girls are walking by and they see Barndo and construction and all this stuff, and they see women there working it makes them feel like I can come into this. Another thing that we do is we opened up a couple weeks ago. We had a homeschool co-op come to our offices. We got little bitty kids from 3 and 4 year old up to 10 years old. walking through the halls, and we're in there like making a connection to where they feel like they know someone in that industry. You know, like we need more people in trades. That's a given. Well, how do you get them? You could sit around and complain about the fact that more people are going into tech and not as many people are going into trades, or there's this huge push to go and get a college education to do different things, and we need trades and all that stuff. Or you could decide to lead that way and practice leadership in those children. You know, you guys identified a need in Fire Pit Ranch of these 5th grade through high school boys that need a fatherly type influence in their life. They need this mentorship. We've done the same thing. And what we realize is like, if you want people in here, you better open the door for them at an early age. Yep. You better let them connect. You better let them know like, hey, this is a possibility for me. And so we try to be intentional with all these little things. And like, we do some stuff to where, you know, I can see some of the leaders in our head scratching their head like, why is there 70 kids walking through the hallways of our offices? And it's like, well, because out of those 70, maybe 2 of them end up in trades or in construction, because when they were 5 or 6 years old, they remember walking through here and they had fun and they colored toolbox, you know, or they asked some questions, but they got to see it. They got to be exposed to it. And so we're trying to build something bigger than just building houses. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.